In the next few minutes, someone you know will lose everything because they couldn't control a chemical surge lasting less than 90 seconds. They will say a word that ends a marriage, send a message that destroys a career, or succumb to a rage that alters the trajectory of their life forever. We like to believe we are the masters of our own house, the captains of our souls, but the truth is far more unsettling. Most of us are merely passengers in a vehicle driven by ancient, primal ghosts. History is littered with the corpses of those who were brilliant, powerful, and wealthy, yet remained slaves to their own internal weather. Think of the Roman Emperor Commodus, who inherited the greatest empire on earth but spent his days butchering animals in the Colosseum because he could not soothe the hollow ache of his own insecurity. He had the world at his feet, yet he was a prisoner to his impulses. You are no different. Right now, there is a shadow trailing you, a version of yourself that is waiting for the perfect moment of weakness to burn down everything you have built. To master your emotions is not an act of self-help. It is an act of war against your own biological programming. And if you do not win this war, you are destined to be a casualty of your own chemistry. The great architect of the human mind designed a flaw into our operating system. We are equipped with a survival mechanism that cannot distinguish between a predator in the tall grass and a condescending comment from a coworker. When you feel that heat rise in your chest, that tightening in your throat, you're experiencing a limbic hijack. Your rational mind, the part of you that understands consequences, logic, and long-term goals, is effectively taken hostage by a primitive part of the brain that only knows how to fight, flee, or freeze. In the world of dark psychology, this is known as the emotional gap. It is the space between a stimulus and your response. Most people live their entire lives with a gap so narrow it is non-existent. They are puppets, dancing on strings pulled by whoever or whatever happens to irritate them that day. But there is a secret, a hidden discipline practiced by the elite few who navigate the world with a chilling, calculated calm. They have learned how to stretch that gap. They have learned that an emotion is not a command, it is merely a suggestion. As we journey deeper into the mechanics of the soul, I will reveal a final, terrifying truth about human nature, a realization so profound it will forever change how you look at the person in the mirror. But first, you must understand the architecture of your own entrapment. Consider the metaphor of the black sun. In alchemy, this represents the nigredo phase, the blackening, the descent into the darkness of the self. Most people spend their lives running from their dark emotions. They suppress their anger, they mask their envy, and they distract themselves from their sadness. But suppression is not mastery. It is a debt that eventually comes due with interest. When you push an emotion into the basement of your subconscious, it doesn't die. It waits. It waits for you to be tired, stressed, or intoxicated, and then it bursts through the floorboards with a vengeance you cannot control. The master does not suppress. The master observes. There is a concept in Stoic philosophy known as protopatheia, or the first movements of the soul. These are the initial flickers of feeling, the sudden spark of irritation, or the cold shiver of fear. These are involuntary. You cannot stop them any more than you can stop your heart from beating. The amateur tries to stop the spark. The master lets the spark happen but refuses to give it the oxygen of attention. They watch the emotion as if it were a strange insect crawling on a table. They do not say, "I am angry." They say, "I am experiencing the sensation of anger." This linguistic shift is a psychological bypass. It creates a separation between the I and the affect. By the end of this exploration, you will understand why this separation is the only thing standing between you and total psychological collapse. We live in an era of emotional engineering. Algorithms are designed to bypass your logic and hook directly into your amygdala. News cycles are curated to keep you in a state of perpetual outrage. Social media is a theater of envy. You are being farmed for your reactions. Every time you react, you are giving away a piece of your sovereignty. You are becoming predictable. And in the game of power, predictability is a death sentence. To be emotional is to be readable. To be readable is to be controllable. The dark truth of human interaction is that those who cannot control their emotions are always at the mercy of those who can. Think of the negotiator who remains silent while the other party fills the air with nervous, emotional chatter. Think of the predator who uses charm to bypass a victim's intuition. They are all playing the same game. They are looking for the emotional hook. We all have them, buttons that when pressed bypass our reason. For some, it is the need to be right. For others, it is the fear of being excluded. If you do not identify your hooks, someone else will eventually find them and use them to pull you in whatever direction they desire. This leads us to the shadow integration technique. We are often told to be good people, to be kind and compassionate, but a man who is incapable of being dangerous is not virtuous, he is merely harmless. True emotional mastery requires you to acknowledge the monster within. You must look at your capacity for cruelty, your thirst for dominance, and your potential for destruction. Not to act on them, but to own them. When you own your shadow, it can no longer be used against you. You become heavy in a psychological sense. You are no longer a leaf blown by the wind. You are the mountain through which the wind whistles. But as we move further into the labyrinth of the mind, we must confront a disturbing reality. There is a threshold where mastery becomes something else entirely, a coldness that borders on the human. We will touch upon this final secret soon, but realize that the path to the top is lonely and the air is thin. To master yourself, you must be willing to kill the version of yourself that seeks comfort and validation. Most people fail because they mistake feeling for truth. They believe that because a feeling is intense, it must be meaningful. This is the great illusion of the ego. Your emotions are not a compass, they are a weather vane. They tell you which way the wind is blowing, not which way you should go. The obsidian mindset involves treating emotions as data points, nothing more. If you feel fear before a major decision, that is not a sign to stop. It is a data point indicating that the stakes are high. If you feel anger towards a rival, it is a data point indicating a perceived threat to your status. You process this data in real time, filter out the biological noise, and execute the optimal move. This is the God protocol, the ability to act with total detachment from the outcome. When you stop caring about how you feel and start caring only about what is effective, you become an unstoppable force. You become the eye of the hurricane. While everyone around you is being swept away by the storm of their own making, you remain still. Yet there is a danger in this stillness. A heart that is never moved can become a heart that no longer beats for anything. The ultimate mastery is not the absence of emotion, but the deliberate curation of it. It is the ability to summon the exact emotional state required for the task at hand. Need to lead? Summon the warmth of charisma. Need to defend? Summon the coldness of the blade. This is state control, the highest level of psychological warfare. It is the ability to play yourself like a fine-tuned instrument. But why do we struggle so much? Why is it that even knowing this, we still find ourselves snapping at our loved ones or paralyzed by anxiety? It is because of the neural grooves. Your brain is like a field of tall grass. The more you walk a certain path, the path of anger, the path of self-pity, the easier it becomes to walk it again. Your emotions have carved deep trenches in your biology. Breaking free requires more than just willpower. It requires a systematic rewiring. You must become an architect of your own gray matter. You must consciously choose to walk the difficult path until the old one overgrows and disappears. As we approach the final revelation, ask yourself, who is actually in control right now? Is it the you that wants to achieve greatness, or is it the you that wants to eat, sleep, and hide? The world is a mirror. If you are chaotic inside, the world will reflect that chaos back to you. If you are a master of your inner world, the outer world has no choice but to bend to your will. The final secret, the secret that the Stoics, the mystics, and the elite puppeteers of history have always known, is this. You do not have emotions. Emotions have you, until you realize they are entirely fictional. They are biochemical hallucinations created by a brain that is trying to predict the future based on a past that no longer exists. The self that feels the emotion is just as much a fiction as the emotion itself. When you truly grasp this, that there is no you to be hurt, no you to be offended, and no you to be afraid, the strings are cut. You are no longer the puppet. You are no longer even the puppeteer. You are the space in which the play happens. This is the ultimate liberation. It is a state of absolute indifference, not out of apathy, but out of a profound understanding of the nature of reality. If you can reach this point, you will look back at your former self with a sense of pity. You will see the billions of people still trapped in their 90-second chemical cycles, destroying their lives for shadows on a cave wall. You will see that most people are walking nightmares, reacting to ghosts. But you will be awake. You will move through the world with a silence that is louder than any shout. But remember, this knowledge comes with a price. Once you see the machinery,